Hey guys, Marvin and Kid here coming to you again. How's everybody doing out there? Back again for another comic review, guys. For you guys, I hope everybody had a very safe and happy 4th of July. As always, once again, peace and love to the DarkAvengerINC family. As always, I just recently put up a vid up on DarkAvengerINC Plus to get you guys your minds thinking. I was bringing both worlds together, comic book and video gamers together, and I hope I'm getting a good response from that as well, because I live in both worlds. And as always, much love and respect to my mentor, my bro, Blue Goblin, and also to as always, my badunkadunk is pretty much sitting down, and I'm enjoying myself. That's shout out to Mark, FatStakeofComics. People you need to go check out. So here I am again guys, with the review, and I got pretty much a pretty decent stack for you guys. Some DC, not a lot of Marvel this week, and a lot of independent, definitely. So I hope you guys enjoy it. So let's get to it. So now we're in the month of July. I'll change the lineup of how I present the books to you. So this time around, we are going to go DC, Marvel, and end with independent. And for everybody who may be asking, so hey, where's the monster, Chris? Isn't he gonna? Monster's napping right now. He's sleeping. I'm looking at him right now. He's cocking some Z's over there. Yeah, he's knocked out. But maybe some other day I'll bring the monster back. He'll probably come back again. He did enjoy it, he said. But I do have in the future, I do have some more friends that you might be loving and should do. For example, I have a friend who actually is, his line of work, let's just say he takes out bad guys, and let's just say he's an assassin. But on his off time, when he's not taking assignments by the Guild of Assassins, he reads comics. So I hope to get him on sometime soon. Yeah, you'll see him someday. So let's start off with Batwing. This is issue number 22. Pretty much Jim Palomino and Justin Gray continue to take the new Batwing in a good direction, as I've been loving. As you all know, this new Batwing is Lucius Fox's son, Luke. And it, like I said before, it has this Batman Beyond feel to it, which I like. So this, as the cover is a pretty decent cover, like that cover. Father and son in the clutches of evil. So pretty much, basically, just Luke brings his world as Batwing to his doorstep, his family's doorstep, and he feels that it's his fault because he believes they're after him. They think that pretty much his identity has been solved to who Batwing is, but unfortunately it's not. And I'm not going to spoil too much about what goes on, why they come to the Fox's mansion. But these individuals who are known as the Marbuta, basically they're like this group. They're like an ant colony. They're these group that can combine into like this giant ant creature. It's kind of interesting, kind of crazy as well. And they come to the Fox's mansion in Gotham, and Luke is really distraught. His family's mom's hurt. His sisters are distraught. They want their mom. They're scared. Lucius Fox has been kidnapped. Everything. And now he is on a quest to get his dad back. Batman, Bruce is like, look, let me handle this. You're too emotionally into it. That'll get you killed. Things like that. And pretty much Luke is, no, I'm going in. And does he disobey Bruce? Of course he does. This is his father we're talking about. So, but we do get to see a good dynamic team up between Batman and Batwing to get down to the bottom of who kidnapped Lucius Fox and trying to get him back. It leaves on a cliffhanger and it does make you wonder, okay, how are this duo right here going to get out of the situation that they're in? But other than that, it's really good. I've been really enjoying what Mr. Palomita has been doing, and Justin Gray. The artwork is done by what's his name? The art Eduardo Pancisa. I hope I'm saying that. I'm probably butchering that name. I apologize. But very good stuff. Very good indeed. All right. So I watched Gabi's review, and this was his pick of the week. I don't blame him. I don't do pick of the weeks, guys, but Detective Comics number 22. John Layman, fantastic writing, and Jason Fabok's artwork is just splendid in this Wrath of the Batman. All right, so basically in this, we got a new player in Gotham, in a sense. It opens up with pretty much someone's killing Gotham PD cops, and at first it looks like people are blaming Batman, and you know, some cops are saying it was only a matter of time before he started crossing the line, yada yada yada. Of course, we know Jim Gordon basically saying Batman doesn't kill, Bruce doesn't kill. We know that someone else is doing it. So it's pretty much a case of Batman trying to solve who is this cop killer. In the meantime, in Bruce Wayne's world, when you know his alter ego, someone wants to buy out Wayne Enterprises. And Bruce Wayne, of course, is like, it's not for sale. I'm not going to spoil who this guy is, but he's just like, I can add more zeros to that. And like, no. So literally, he basically literally threatens Bruce in public. Like, you'll regret that. And it's like, okay, this guy's got some balls on him. And then we start to see that he is a part of this legion, in a sense. So he sends this person out, one of his disciples, known as there's this character known as Wrath, who sends out his disciple known as Scorn to deal with what's going on. And of course Bruce is in the means of figuring it out, and of course Scorn didn't realize Batman was going to get involved. He gets punished. Ended right there. And then there's the Man-Bat story that's been going on, and that has been really good. Jesus Christ, Mr. Langstrom, Kurt Langstrom, has been just going through some really fucked up shit. I'm sorry, excuse my language. It has really been twisted. He's, without spoiling too much, Kurt Langstrom knows he's not taking the serum, but shit's hitting the fan, and it's hitting it bad. And I'm not going to spoil too much. You just got to pick this bad boy up, to figure out what I'm talking about. Good stuff. Very good stuff. Detective Comics 22. Check it out. Alright. So we move on to... Unfortunately, guys, I don't have an Earth 2 counterpart. I probably have, but I think the fact is we never made contact with each other. So I don't think my Earth 2 counterpart would be as douchey as Gabi's, but I have to admit, this time he wasn't as much of a dick as he usually is. But Earth 2, number 14. It is going to be really sad to see James Robinson lead the title. Nicola Scott, artwork is beautiful. Love that Aussie. Yeah. Yes, she's an Aussie. Love her. I love her artwork. Beautiful. So that cover pretty much sums it up. Whoa. Pretty much. In a sense, these three individuals, Alan Scott, Green Lantern, Jay Garrett, Flash, and Dr. Fate, take the fight to Steppenwolf. Take it straight to him, not hiding behind the shadows, not going incognito, not using guerrilla warfare, stealth routine, recon mission. No, they're going boom, straight ahead. And it gets a little bit choppy from there. Unfortunately, the World Army gets wind of it, of course, and they send in, Cal Dodd, the Sandman and his group, and they're like, we know UK, we understand you guys want to help, you want to do your part, but this is our mission, you're doing it the wrong way. We do it stealth-wise, not full-on throttle attack. things like that. Then you got supposedly their version, Earth 2's counterpart of Red Arrow, saying, let's just kill them. And I love how Jay is like, you know, okay, Robin Hood, yeah, you go ahead and please shoot an arrow so I can catch it and shove it up your, shove it up your ass and things like that. I thought that was really funny. Jay is starting to really get into the mood and the groove of being the Flash and realize what he can do, his limits, everything like that. And he's not taking no more crap from the World Army, especially what they did to his mother's house, things like that. So it's pretty much there. We do get a glimpse of one of my favorite DC heroes, Mr. Terrific, Mr. T, finally, once again. And he seems like he's working for the World Army again. And since pretty much one of the lead of the World Army doesn't trust the original Mr. Terrific, pretty much. So they're like, he's not the only genius we have. And you see Mr. Terrific in all his glory, with his T-spheres. Made me geek out. But it ends with pretty much kind of like, really, I'm like, I understand they're trying to lead up the big baddie of these, that Steppenwolf sends out, but it was like, okay, am I really supposed to take these guys intimidating or what? Because I don't know, it's like, I don't know anything about them. It's just like, release the hounds, and it was just like, okay. But other than that, it's real good. It's going to be really sad, like I said, to see Mr. Robinson leave this title, but I believe it'll be in good hands with, I'm forgetting the writer who's writing Injustice right now, but at least to know that Nicola Scott is still going to be doing the artwork, good stuff. Earth 2, number 14. Alright, move on to Mr. Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino. Green Arrow, number 22. Mercy at the mercy of the all-new Count Vertigo. Yes, Count Vertigo makes his 52 debut in this. And I must say, he looks intimidating. He does put the shitstorm on Ollie big time. I'll show you what he looks like. I'm not really big on his look, but he still has that Count Vertigo feel to it. This is what he looks like. That's him. He kind of looks like a green version of Bullseye, because of the swirls. But other than that, I didn't mind him. Finally, we get Vertigo finally in there. So pretty much, Ollie, he goes to the country of what the hell is it? Valata, where Vertigo's from. I'm always pronouncing that country wrong, because he's still on the track of Komodo and all. He gets some new arrows thanks to his allies that are still helping him, of course, and and it's kind of funny because you got you have his one of his new allies, and one of his old allies. They're like playing one up on who makes the best trick arrows for Ollie. It was really funny, but it was just getting really in depth, like things like that. But also it's also a rescue mission. Ollie goes in to rescue someone that is being held captive, someone known as the Dragon, who happens to be a woman, and she knows right away who the Green Arrow is. She knows that he's Oliver Queen, because she even says it. Basically, I'll even say it. Basically, she says, she basically says, where is it? She thinks Ollie is Robert, his father, and he says, what? No, I'm not Robert. I'm the Green Arrow. I'm here to rescue you, and things like that. But she knows right away, she's like, you aren't him, aren't you? You're him, aren't you? The boy, Oliver. And she's like, how do you know that? And, it's just like, she's like, please, like, come on. I love how she says, you can't hide the mask. You look just like him. You look just like my Robert. So it's like, whoa, like, okay, where's this going? And Ollie's like, you're Robert. And then that's where it gets really interesting. Then they meet Count Vertigo, and he's just playing, playing the things that you would think Vertigo would be like in this. He's still the same, but he is pretty much still, just oozing the Count Vertigo that we know from the past, but he just looks a little different. That's all. And of course, later on, when how he's able to defeat Vertigo, it comes down to a lot of from his allies and a lot of his arrows in a sense, but it was still cool. But unfortunately, here's where it gets really interesting. Remember Komodo and his crazy psycho daughter? The dragon, the person that Ali rescued, pretty much, she starts to go on and talk about, Ali still comes. He's like, "Who are you? How did you know my father?" And she says, "My name is Shadow, and she says I should be asking the questions like, how did you know I was still alive? Things like that." And he says, "A man named Magus tipped me off," then things like that, and he said you could help me find a killer named Komodo. And Komodo, and she says, "Did you see him?" Things like that. Did you see him? Did he have a little girl with him? And he said, "Yeah, he did. She was just like you," and things like that. She's like, "Is that your little girl? Is that your daughter?" And she's like, "No, I'm gonna spoil this for you." She's like, "No, you don't understand. Yes, Imoko is my daughter, but Komodo Simon Lacrosse, he is not her father. Robert Queen is Imoko's father and your sister." Oh, so it was like, ooh, what a cliffhanger. It was like, damn. So it gave you a question of like, okay, he's been fighting his sister in the psycho girl who's almost just like Komodo is Ollie's true blood sister. So it left you with them. Mr. Lemire just hit you with another gut shot, and you're just like, can't wait to issue 23 to see where this is going. Good stuff to read. All right, so we move on to Green Lantern number 22. Robert Venditti, and one of my favorite artists, Billy Tan, still just does a fantastic job with this. Gotta agree with Gabi again. Mr. Venditti's only in 2 issues, or what? About 2 issues, and I'm loving his direction so far. So they're still dealing with Larfleeze. No, I did not pick up Larfleeze. I don't mind Larfleeze for what he is as the character, but I'm not the biggest Larfleeze fan. That's just me. They're still dealing with the Larfleeze, and of course the new recruits. I love the cover, like Ollie's struggling with Larfleeze, and they're like, oh, just hovering. And in this, they're still dealing with Larfleeze. And the new recruits, it was so funny how Ollie's just like, okay, you new recruits, help me out here, and they're like, oh, what do you want us to do? And things like, and he's trying to tell them like, our rings work on willpower. Use your imagination. And so one of them actually makes a fist and cracks him in the back. Ollie and Hal in the back. Was I saying Ollie? I meant Hal in the back of the head, and he's like, yeah, see, now that's how it works. Now aim it at him and things like that. Some of the other recruits are really having a rough time, but then later on they start to realize it. Like one of them is really like, oh, now I get it. It's like on a mathematical intent, things like that. They get a little help from Saint Walker. It's always a pleasure to see Saint Walker, in my opinion. And Star Sapphire as well. It's not Fatality. I don't know. It's not her, and it's not Carol, but just another member of the Star Sapphire that come in to help. And we get some deaths in here. There's a Green Island loss in here by a prisoner that seems to be going to play a big factor as well in later stories as well. Looks, once again, you could see Mr. Venditti is just laying the foundation of what's to come in his run, and I'm loving that. I'm loving what's going on in here. And Hal lays it on the line for them after the death. He's like, okay, new recruits, okay, this is what you gotta literally be in store for. This can happen at any moment, and things like that. And I love the line, you know, the line where it's like, they sure put the emphasis on being green. I laughed when I read that. That was funny. And of course, after the death of there was two deaths in here. A certain other character, Kilowog, comes up to Hal and was like, maybe you don't have to be a mind reader. No, maybe you should talk to Carol. And Carol's like, Carol and I are on the outs right now. All I have left is the core. And you really feel for Hal in this. You're like, damn, like, he really doesn't have love. All he has left is the core. All he has left is this. And he's trying to do his part to lead this as best he can. But tidal wave after tidal wave after tidal wave of shit, is coming down upon him. And you just really feel for Hal in this. But it was still good nonetheless. I'm loving where Mr. Venditti is going. Keep up the good work, sir. Alright. Now this little bad boy, if you do follow my mentor Blue Goblin, you see on his stash of comics that I send him. Yeah, you'll see this soon when he gets it. But right now you'll see it from me. What did I think of The Movement from Miss Gail Simone, my lady? I always tip my head to her. I will follow this woman to heaven and back. Yes, I'm a Gail Simone fanboy. I'm proud of it. And anybody that's got a problem there, come on, let's go. You wanna do something about it? Let's go. Yeah. But Miss Gail Simone and Freddie Williams II, his artwork is still touch with me. Sometimes it seems like it's blotchy, and then sometimes it's really good. But in this, the mission takedown, I'm always pronouncing this damn name wrong. Catharasis. I hope I'm saying it right. So we found out in the last issue, Kath, I'll just call that, is a cop. So it was like, whoa! And then we found out that a certain individual that was from Gen 13 makes her debut in this. Who is that? Well, it's been out for a while. We all should know it. Rainmaker from Gen 13. Remember Gen 13? And all of them? Yeah, Rainmaker. And she is a beast in this. She just showcases that she's not to be screwed around with. And it just gets really in depth in there. The cops that are taking on the Catholic are trying to take her down, but she's giving up. She's putting up a fight. She's not going down without a fight. She's breaking arms, she's breaking noses, breaking people's legs, until finally the numbers are just too great for her. And then there's just more of that in depth. They interrogate her. I'm not going to spoil too much of what goes on in the interrogation with her, but with Rainmaker, it was just like, holy shit, like, good God, like, the team is just trying so hard to, like, hey, look, we're not here to fight you, and she's just like, the team's just doing all they can, and they can't get a foundation of really trying to attack her or just protect themselves against her power. And then finally, of course, unfortunately, finally, dang, I'm forgetting her name right now. But the leader of the group, the movement, she finally is able to talk to Rainmaker, finally. And they sit down and talk, finally. They stop, and it leads to something more than there, and it leads with more of what goes on with the commissioner of the police force of Coral City and everything like that. There's an interesting conversation between, Divine, I believe that's her name, yeah, or Harmony. Damn, I'm forgetting her name right off the top of my head. Oh, you stupid. But it was good. It's still good. It's still very good. Still good storytelling by Miss Gail Simone. Probably one of the best writers that DC has. And do me a favor, DC. Don't fuck around and fire her and things like that. You better keep her, because that is your best. Let me put my foot down. It is your best writer you have on your, one of your best on your company. So you best not do anything stupid and release her again. I'm looking forward to her Red Sonja. I've told her that plenty of times on Twitter, and since I can't wait to see what she's gonna do with the She-Devil. Good stuff. Alright, so we move on to Marvel. Like I said, only have 2 Marvel for you guys. And the first one is Avengers. This is issue 15. This is still the prologue to Infinity. Once again, I must say this right now, being that I'm really burnt out on the superhero versus superhero stuff. And you may say that, but you're saying, hey Chris, are you going to get Trinity War? That'll probably be the last thing I get. Because if there's any more stuff, I won't read it. I'm burnt out on the superhero versus superhero stuff. It's getting old really fast with me. In my opinion, it's getting very old, and I'm burnt out on it. In Infinity, we get a clear-cut villain or villains in this, and I'm looking forward to Infinity very much. So this is the prologue, and Jonathan Hickman's still telling his good storytelling, and he also has help from Nick Spencer. Yeah, they both help out. They both do the co-writing together, and Stefano Castelli does the artwork. Of course, that is a beautiful cover from another one of my favorite artists, Leland Yu. Very good. And everybody's like, you know, be like, oh, the pain. And the team is still dealing with what's going on in Australia, which was the origin of the bomb impact that El Niño basically dropped into Earth. You know, and they're dealing with these, like, the Avengers are dealing with these really bug-like creatures, as well as these many-faced stone monsters and everything like that. While Bruce Banner is still trying to figure out how to stop this with S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything. He's at S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters. And of course, there's stuff going on with AIM because of what they're doing. You really got a really in-depth look at what's going on. Swords involved in this, and the Avengers are just trying to keep this stuff from really spreading, but the enemy just keeps coming. Now, once again, this proves right away that the Spider-Man in this is ARCHIE, and he is in his new costume, pretty much, that we're going to see later on. As you can see it right here, you see him in the new costume. It looks kind of cool. It looks like the web shooters are now here on the side, because you really get a chance to see it. Like, you can tell it's ARCHIE because, let me see if I can get an in-depth, you can tell it's ARCHIE. Damn it, where is it? Just the dialogue right there, you know, just made you, yeah, okay, yeah, this is ARCHIE. All right, here it is. Basically, you know, Captain America is telling the team, stay close, stay close, and cover each other's backs. Won't need to hold out much longer. We need to, you know, until S.H.I.E.L.D. gets here, and then you know, he's trying to crack some jokes like, you know, Peter would, but then we get a soliloquy where he basically says, I'll put my faith in these less inspirational brutes this time. So it's just like, yeah, it's that bastard Doc Ock right there. Yeah, it's him. So, you know, everything like that. But, you know, still good writing. Castillo's artwork was really good. Does the team able to thwart the plans? Yes. Then I love the line. I love the comments between Captain Universe, which was really funny. You know, Captain Universe, she comes down, and you know, and Captain America says, Captain Universe, we could have used your help here, and she's like, and then Shang-Chi is like, how can we help you, Mother? And she's like, Did you see my fuzzy? Did you see my fuzzy slippers? You know, that was an accidental misplaced. I think someone put them in the trash over one winter, and she's like, "I wish I had a winter coat. It's cold out there, and you're not coming." But him for the trip, and Malagold is like, great. You know, he's like, you won't, you, she's like, you don't have a winter coat either? She's like, you should get one. He's like, why? Before he's teleporting, he's like, because it's cold out in space. And I was laughing. I'm loving what they're doing with Captain Marvel, and I'm with Captain Universe, and I like the individual, the woman that's occupying Captain Universe, but still good. And it just leads you into what's to come next for, you know, Infinity. Right? Yeah. Venom number 37. Cullen Bunn does a good job writing, of course, and we have Kim Jacinto. I'm hoping I'm saying her name right. In this is kind of the outcome of what happened in last issue. As we all know, Flash Thompson is in Philly, city of brotherly love, and when he has a job as an assistant gym coach in the daytime, and he does his job as Venom. And unfortunately, his old ally, Kim Carrion, who's a reporter, I believe that's her name, is interviewing Flash as Flash about, you know, Venom being here and everything like that. And, you know, I believe that's her name, Catherine Carrion, excuse me. And of course, Flash is still on the hunt for Lord Ogre, and that's where we start getting to the line that Lord Ogre, he's got some power, he's got some stroke here in Philly. He's like, I kind of could say he's like the equivalent of the Kingpin in a sense in Philly. And Flash is trying to track down him. Unfortunately, it shows you that Flash is not really the hunter in this. He's the prey. And Lord Ogre has put a bounty on Flash's head. And all these individuals are coming out. Some are new, some are old. Some are familiar faces. I'm not going to spoil some of those familiar faces, but the new stuff are this guy called, what's his name? One guy named, who's kind of like a wannabe Spider-Man. His name is Blood Spider. I believe he's new. Another one is Jagged Bow, and the other one is Death Shield. And they're kind of like the equivalent of Captain America and Hawkeye and Spider-Man. And even Flash even says, he's like, these guys he's just as good. The Jagged Bow, he's just as good as Hawkeye. And with Death Shield, he's like, man, he's just as tough as Steve and things like that. And it's really kind of interesting that, you know, in a sense, Flash is looking at it like, how am I I'm getting taken to school by a bunch of lightweights, a bunch of rookies. Like, I should be dominating these guys, but he's not. And then when some of those familiar faces start entering the fold, Flash has to take a seat back and almost let his enemies, you know, deal with each other, because it showed right there there's no honor amongst them in a sense, and he has to take a seat back and kind of take a tactical retreat in a sense. And it's kind of bad. It kind of makes you kind of feel for Flash, and it also, if Flash even puts himself down a little bit, you're like, damn. But then at the end, when we get to see where Lord Ogre puts his feet down when he's not in the streets, you know, who else comes into the fold? And bam, that's where we get the big cliffhanger, and you're like, oh shit. Like, okay, now shit's gonna hit the fan. Good storytelling by Mr. Bunn. The street level stuff for Venom is where it's at. You know, once again, Mr. Bunn has made it clear that he's gonna stick with the street level stuff for a long time. It's not gonna be more of that, not too much more of that hellfire and you know, brimstone stuff, you know, demons and stuff. I don't mind that from time to time, but Venom is not a character that needs to be in that universe. Save that stuff for Doctor Strange. Even stereotypically, yeah, I'll put Blade in there, even though I don't want Blade to be in that category as much. Ghost Rider and people like that. But see, save that for him, not Venom. Good stuff. All right. So the rest of the stuff is from independent, and the first one we're going to talk about is still dealing with, perhaps one of the greatest crossovers ever, in my opinion. Two characters that I grew up with, and the crossover story arc is known as Worlds Collide. So we're going back to Archie Comics, and this is part 9 of 12 of Worlds Collide, and this is Sonic the Hedgehog, issue 250. Congratulations to Sonic for reaching 250. That's a nice cover. You know, it looks cool. It folds out, actually. Very good. I have not read all 250 issues, but congratulations for Sonic and Archie for reaching 250. This is a little bit thicker than usual, but you could explain why, because it's, you know, 250 issue. The Worlds Collide. All right. Sonic and Mega Man, excuse me, are still dealing with what's going on, but now they're packed up with more allies, and boy, they're going to lead it, because let me show you why. Look at all the robot masters they're going up against. Holy crap! Like, all the robot masters, and that's pretty much the gist of this. Like, you see all of Sonic's allies and Sonic and Mega Man helping out. There's a new robot master, Rouge, the Bat. She becomes a robot master, but Sonic clears that. Mega Man clears that up real quick. I love how some of the individuals are put up against. For example, I'll show you some that was really cool. We got Amy. She's going up against Splash Woman. We have Knuckles going up against Stone Man, which is really cool right here. You see him right here. We got, this is just taking me back, just seeing all these guys. We got Espedo, you know, going against ShadowMan, because they're like the two ninjas. You see them. You got Vector going up against the Snake Man, and he's like, you're a disgrace to all reptiles and things like that. You got Charmy the Bee. He's going up against Hornet Man. This is just really good. And then I love the thing between Sonic. You know, you got Sonic helping out Shadow, and he's like, I don't need your help, and things like that. And Sonic's just like, yeah, but I think it's fun. It's just really fun. And then you got Sonic dealing with people like, unfortunately, Sonic gets, later on, he gets challenged by Quickman, as you can see right here. And unfortunately, Sonic's a little bit, you know, really out of, Quickman's still out of Sonic's lead, and he just makes Quickman look like a douche. And then I love Quickman. I hate that Hedgehog. You know, it's just really cool. This was action packed. This one was action packed, but you can really introduce, and it's still really fun to see that Dr. Robotnik and Dr. Wily are still getting along, but then Dr. Robotnik really realizes right off the bat later on that Dr. Wily was right to think about Dr. Light. He is a threat, and something bad happens to Dr. Light, and I'm going to end it right there. Pick up this, Gabi, when you get this, tell me what you think about it. Good stuff, very good stuff. Alright, so we move on to Dynamite. And the first one is coming from Mr. Mark Waid. Green Hornet, number 3. Gabi, once again, Ed. They sent him to you. There you go. You're going to be caught up to speed now with that boy. Alright, so we got, first of all, I love this cover by Jonathan Lowe. Good artwork. But Daniel Indron does the good artwork in this. Magic Wade. In this issue, we're starting to see that Britt is, in a sense, pushing that envelope a little bit, in a sense that his partner Kato is not liking it. He's not liking it at all, and Kato really is looking at it from a standpoint of, are we still doing what we were supposed to do, posing as the bad guys to get close to the bad guys so they can get caught and things like that. The motto of the Green Hornet. And it's really getting dire, and you really feel for Kato because he respects Britt Reed, but it's only as far as he can go. It's almost as far. How much can you push? You can poke the bear in terms before that bear turns around and slashes you to death, and mauls you, in a sense. That's how you look at with Kato. It's only how much can Britt cross that line before Kato is like, you know what? I'm done. I can't be with you right now. I can't, as your partner. I can't. It's almost as if, it's kind of looking at a sense where I looked at this was like, if Batman was crossing that line too much and Robin was looking at it and was like, you know what? I can't be with you, Batman. Like, you're crossing the line. And that's what this felt like, in a sense. But it was good writing. Very good storytelling by Mark Waid. Still does a fantastic job. This issue was far better than issue 2. Definitely agree with Mark from FatStakeofComics. But this one definitely was better than issue 2. Good stuff by Mark Waid. Green Hornet number 3. Good stuff. Alright, and once again, we're adding something new, as always. You know me, guys. I always try to add something new to the flow. And that is none other than the Owl. Look at that beautiful cover by Alex freaking Ross. Yeah, that is a beautiful cover. Alright, so the writing is done by J.T. Krull, and the artwork is done by Herbert Michael. Beautiful artwork. Beautiful artwork. So pretty much this is, the Owl has been trapped in limbo, as he calls, what did he call it again? He was trapped inside the urn. Yeah, that's what it's called, right? Let me make sure I'm getting it right. This thing called the urn, it was a mystical vessel designed to trap all the evils of the world. And him and many other heroes, classic heroes that you've probably seen in the superpowered series that Dynamite had, were trapped in here. But somehow they were released by an old ally. And so 50 years has gone by and the world has changed. His city has changed. His city is known as Yorktown. And I don't think it's Yorktown, New York, because there's a Yorktown in New York here, but I don't think it's this. But here he is really in depth, and we go into a little bit of his history, of course, and he's talking about how things have changed, and some still the same. And then of course he goes back to his love, his love Belle, his girl Belle, who was actually his partner, Owl Girl. And I love how he goes on to talk about, what was some of the things. He's like, the guns are louder now, they're faster, more powerful. The echo of the gunfire pounds in my chest. My costume used to give me an edge, but these guys, they aren't intimidating. Now the villains, the gangsters, they're not intimidated by me. They don't see me as a threat. But he says, if everything they say, but everything they see me as, they don't see me as a challenge. Yes, times have changed, and but so have I. Things like that. Just really comes grounded into basis that he realizes that things have changed. The Owl's real name is, I believe his damn, I'm forgetting his name, but they just call him Terry. I believe his name is Stephen Terry. I could be wrong, but he realizes that things have changed. A lot of things have changed from when he was, you know, started out as the Owl and things like that. He tries to get a job as in the police department, in the Yorktown Police Department. That's what they call him, Detective Terry. And one of the officers, the captain, tells him, like, you know, you got an impressive resume and things like that, but you know, Yorktown police is kind of like corrupted in a sense. And I love the line where he goes on to talk about the gangs today. There's no honor. There's no code. You know, they treat one another like animals. Things like that. It just gets really good. It's just really, he's really interpreting the way the gangsters used to be and how the gangs are nowadays, and that, you know, you really enjoy that. You know, it's just like, okay. But then it kind of, then an individual enters the fray that he looks at and he's like, he like does it like head turn, like, that can't be who I think it is. Like, Bell? Yeah, I'm gonna spoil it for you guys. Yeah, he thinks this could be the same Owl girl that Bell, but she's a lot different in this. But very good writing by J.T. Cruel. Very good start to this 1 of 4 series. This is only a 1 of 4 series, but I did enjoy what I read. Good artwork by Mr. Hubert Kahn Michael, and of course you can't go wrong with Alex Ross on the cover. Good stuff. And once again, got another cover by Alex Ross, but this is the Shadow. You know me, guys, I love Shadow. Mr. Chris Robinson still does a good job writing the Shadow, and Giovanni Tipano Tipano still does the artwork, still brilliant. And Shadow is still on the case of trying to figure out who this individual who just calls herself the Light. And what is her motive? Why is she just killing people? You know, what's inside her head and things like that. And we kind of still get maybe in depth into her past, which is still good. But the main gist of it is the Shadow is still using his network, you know, including Margot Lane, to figure out, okay, who she is and why this is happening, and you know, who the Light is and what's her motive. You know, it's just good crime drama storytelling by Chris Robertson, and I'm loving it, you know, from the Shadow's point of view. And I love the line that one of the, I think the commissioner or the captain of the NYPD, I believe, his name is Cardano. He's like, you know, of course, you know, the Shadow always doing his you know, laughing, and then no doors or windows can bar the Shadow. You know, Shadow just comes out of the night, you know, comes out of the shadows, like, and then I love the captain, like, oh, it's you, and he's like, would have known you to poke your spooky beak into all this mess. And we're talking about the Shadow's big nose. You know, the Shadow does got a huge big schnoz, you know, but it's still good storytelling, but it doesn't look good for Margot Lane at the end. It leaves you like, oh no, like, what's gonna happen now? Because unfortunately, let me show this to you guys. Unfortunately, first of all, I gotta say, Mr. Tipano, good artwork from look at that. Look at that. That's a wet Margot Lane. She's just coming out of the shower. Look at that. That's beautiful, right? But no, look who's at her apartment. There she is, the Light. And so it's like, oh no. And but it's good stuff. Shadow. And we're going to end this with Valiant Entertainment, Valiant Comics. Justin Jordan, Roberto Del La Toro in ShadowMan number 8. Basically, in a sense, Lord Darks is trying to break the barrier between where he's trapped in Dead Side, and so he can get to our world and just turn it into turmoil and things like that. Unfortunately, one of ShadowMan's allies, Dox, gets captured and brought to the Dead Side. The Dead Side is this really eerie, creepy place where pretty much where souls and things go. It's like hell, but just to the 10th power. Let's put it like that. And Lord Darks is pretty much just really messing with Dox. It's really bad. You really feel for him. It's like he's just tormenting him. As you can see right here, he's just tormenting him badly. And you know, pretty much ShadowMan, you know, he wants to break the hold on him, but he can't, because if he does bring him out of the Dead Side, where he's still over there, where his soul is still over there, he can kill him. And it's like Jack is really, the ShadowMan is caught between, you know, everything is like, everybody's like, you did this. This is still kind of your fault. You're trying to, you shouldn't have trusted, what is his name? Just forgetting the other individuals that he's working with. Oh damn, what was his name? The other individuals that he's working with, I'm forgetting their names. It's hard sometimes to remember their names. What's his name? Baron Samedi. Yeah, he's working now. So he's like, once again, he's still working with Baron Samedi. He's still like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And so they go to the Dead Side. ShadowMan and Lord Samedi go there, and he's like, you're gonna help me bring Dox back. We're gonna get him from Darquez, Master Darquez, and we're gonna die trying. And that's pretty much kind of what the main gist of this book is. Jack Bonafist, the ShadowMan, realized he lost one family already. He won't lose this newly crowned family to darkness. And so you feel for Jack in this. You're like, but you're really rooting for him to say, come on, Jack, get to Dox and save him. Good storytelling by Justin Jordan. So that's it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this. As always, guys, stay tuned. As always, I'll be back next week. As always, and I want to leave you off on something. Soon, I will be putting up another comic book special, as always, where I talk about usually I do comic book specials where there are some titles that I read off on the side and talk about them. I don't put them in my weekly review sometimes. And I'm going to show you what it is. I finally got all the titles, and I will finally be able to just give my in-depth review of the whole thing so far. So one moment. Okay, so here we go. So finally, I'm going to give my full in-depth review when I finish reading later on this week or so. I'll put it up later on this week and finally give my in-depth review of this bad boy here, Legend of the Shadow Clan, all 5 parts. I have all 5 parts, so I'll be putting that up on a comic review special. So stay tuned for that sometime later on next week or so. I'll put it up, as always. But other than that, this is my Martin Kid saying peace and love. Stay tuned. As always, check out all the people I talked about. The links will be in the description as well. And I'll catch you guys in the flip flop. And guys, take care.